now we're going to make the bodice, and you've got your silk and your interlining and your lining. Now in my case, of course, this interlining I don't need to use because it's already interfaced. But you would do this step now. You would take the wrong side of whatever you've got, and then you place your interlining over the top, and then you work it as one to make it nice and stiff. And you can put just some pins around it, the armhole and stuff to hold it in place so it doesn't move, and then you just treat it as one fabric. Now in my case, I did not have to do that because it's interfaced already. So I'm going to take off my interlining there, and I'm going to do my dart. So where you snipped the dart and marked it as shown on the pattern, you're going to put your lower pin, then just fold it up straight, and you can see the straightness here, and 1 centimeter below the armhole is where your dart ends. Pin the lining, open it out a bit, because honestly, because you have a different left and right side, you might get it wrong. So put the right sides like that together and then pin your dart. And I tell you, I have done it many times when I didn't want to do this and I just wore autopilot on the machine, and then I had to undo the dart on my lining. And you want to have a very slim and slender dart to the top. You could almost curve it inward. This I did it a bit outward there. That's not perfect, but it's good enough. You will see the key is that the dart totally disappears into the fabric. If you have a nose up at the top, it's not slim enough. So iron the dart on the lining towards the side seam and the dart on the dupion silk towards the center, and that way it's really nice and flat. And you can see that here. Next step is to put facing, and you fold in the edge and then you stitch that down close to the edge, and that will give the inside the stability it needs for when we sew on the buttons, because they're going to go onto that part. If you have a label like I do here, and when I do things for actual people, I put my Frocks and Frolics label in, it should now say made in Los Angeles, shouldn't it? Bespoke design, made in Los Angeles, but I still use them because I've got so many left. I don't sell these commercially anymore. Now we're going to put on the ruler loops. We are going to just use the top and the lower one because I changed the measurement slightly, and you know there's another video that shows you how to adapt the pattern. You want to make sure that the seam is facing up so that when they are turned over properly, the seam is not showing. So seam up when you pin it on. If you're not sure how to make a ruler loop, then you can watch my ruler loop video on the sewing workshop. And now I divide by 3, and then here I'm going to put my ruler loop around that. There we go. I'll do that at the top, and then you want to stitch them in. Now the last thing you want is a ruler loop slipping out, because the stitches with which you sew it together might be big enough to let them slip. So what you want to do is sew backwards and forwards over them with a relatively small stitch so that they cannot go anywhere. It is a disaster when they come out. So now you can see when you fold them over, none of the seams show, and it's just beautiful. And it's actually not hard to do. It just takes a bit of practice.